Hello? Hello? Can people hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. You guys hear me? Let me know. Share screen. Oh, I can share. Wait, I can share my screen? Hold on a minute. Wait, I can do that? If I take this out. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Don't know if anyone can hear me or not. Can you guys hear me? I'm trying to figure out if people can hear me or not. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm sorry, I got a new setup. It's not the best. It's not the best. But we're here. It's not the best, but we're here. It's not the best, but we're here. Okay, we can stop. Okay, we can stop that. All right, cool. I can hear it. So if there's anybody in the chat, thumbs up. Thumbs up. If you can hear me, if the sound is good, let me know. Super sorry for doing this very random stream. This is a bit of a channel update because you probably wonder where the heck have I been in the past couple of weeks, and I kind of wanted to get into all I kind of wanted to get into all that and whatnot. So I don't know if you guys can hear me, but let me know if you can. Anthony, what's up, man? You said, how are you doing, buddy? By the way, I want to see Fantastic Four on Tuesday. So you're going to go see it Tuesday. Awesome. I've already gone to see it. We're going to go live on Wednesday because I'll get into it in just a second. It's you know, in this life you have to realize that you go through a lot of things. And even though you go through a lot of things in life, life is still good, even regardless of the things that you go through, the things that you're dealing with. And just recently, I've been dealing with a lot of adversity. I'm not expecting a whole lot of people on this stream, which is fine. But I'm sure it's probably been a hard time for some of you out there. You know, it's probably been a tough time. You're probably going through a lot of stuff. So, yeah, with that in mind, you said, how's Fantastic Four? Well, I'll get into that on Wednesday because we're going to talk about it on Wednesday. So if you want to hear my thoughts about Fantastic Four, tune into Wednesday's stream because we're actually going to record this as well. Live recording of my review so that way we can post it on YouTube because, again, I'll get into why in just a second. But you said my girlfriend Brianna died in a hit and run. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that, Anthony. I'm wishing you, prayers to your family, prayers to you, prayers to her family as well. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope that you know that Brianna, your girlfriend, is very proud of you. She would be very proud of who you are, how far you've come. And I know it's going to be very, very, very hard dealing with that, especially when you love someone and they pass away, in such unexpected and unfortunate ways. It stays with you. So, you know, if you're going through something, uh, just know you're not alone. I'm here for you. I know I've been gone, and again, I'll explain why, but you're not alone. We got you over here. The dream team, we got you. So, um, everything's going to be all right. I know it seems like right now it doesn't seem like it is, but everything's going to be all right. I promise. So, yeah. So, I'm going to get into the reason as to why I even did this stream, and it is a channel update. So, I'm sure some of you have known that I haven't really been posting as much recently. I haven't really been, creating any content. The last recent thing I did was the Fantastic Four reaction as of recently in celebration for Fantastic Four releasing. But In the weeks ahead, there's been a ton of news, a ton of things that I've wanted to cover, and I haven't been able to due to some technical issues. You know, I've mentioned it many times before, and I'm not looking at this as a sympathy for anyone to feel bad or feel sorry for me. That's not what this is. It's just I kind of wanted to let you guys know as to why I haven't been consistent lately. And the reason for that is because I do all of my videos on my phone. Believe it or not, every single video I've done up until up until recently, because I've had to do it through my laptop, which I'm still doing videos through my phone, but now it's a much tedious process than before, because I did all my videos through my phone, did it through CapCut, and in the amount of time, it would take an hour or two for me to edit it down after I record, and then I put it out, and then it's out, right, and then I'm on to the next video. Well, now, since my phone has been acting up, the battery in my phone has kind of been breaking in and out. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out, either get a new phone or figure out how to get that fixed. So that's something that I'm dealing with. And it's been kind of delaying the process of me really doing a lot of videos and a lot of live streams and a lot of content that you guys know I usually am consistent in. And I just want to apologize, for the technical issues. I want to apologize for not really being transparent with you guys. I should have been more transparent. I should have told you guys what was going on, but I did not. So I want to apologize in that matter. I see Warner Brothers in the chat. You saying Gumball season 7 coming soon? Yeah, it's the episodes are dropping tomorrow. That was something I wanted to do a reaction to. I wanted to react to the trailer for Gumball, and I just did not have the opportunity to, due to, again, technical issues on my side. And it's just been a really tough time, especially when you want to be progressive. You want to have that, that itch, that urge to put out content. And there's a lot of content provided there for you, but you just don't have all of the resources because, again, your phone, unfortunately, like all phones do, they don't last forever. At some point they will have to get replaced. And in that matter, you have to also deal with the fact that it's like, okay, so I don't have the money to really do it. So how am I really going to continue doing this? So now it's been the tedious process of me still recording videos through my phone, but now I've had to transfer all of the videos that I create through an app. Then I have to download those videos to my laptop. Then I have to do the PC version of CapCut, which to me, the PC version of CapCut is a lot more time consuming than the actual app on your phone. So it takes me a little bit more time to really work through it all. And then by the time I do that, my internet is not as good. That's why I really, with OBS, I'm not really able to do OBS because my internet speed and all that is just not good, where I'm at. And with that in mind, videos would take almost 5 to 6 hours to upload through YouTube. I'm sure you guys have probably uploaded a video through YouTube before. And if you have slow internet, it's going to be a while for that video to upload. So that's really what's been the big problem, is that creatively, but also technically, I haven't really been able to create the work that I know I can. And it's kind of been delaying me back and all of that. And let's see, Perfect Peace, welcome in the chat. Welcome. Nostalgic Times, I just joined in. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. It's just I'm having technical issues, and that's why I haven't really been, putting out any content or anything like that. And that's pretty much what's going on. But I'm all right. I could be better. And then also on top of that, I have a lot of other things that are going on in my life right now, and it's just a really, hard time. And I'm sure it might be a really hard time for you right now. I'm sure you guys are probably going through a lot of things right now, but I just want to let you know that in the midst of all the struggles that you go through in life, in midst of all of the adversity, all the times where you feel like you're a loser, where you feel like you just can't seem to win, you just can't seem to get something. I want to let you know you're not a loser. You are a winner, and you are going to win. You know, winners don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of trial and error. And I can say that being in the content game for 3 years, a lot of people will make it seem to you like it's easy. A lot of content creators will make it seem to you like it's easy money, but it's not. It takes a lot of hard time, a lot of hard work, and a lot of man hours in this content creation space. But I'm a believer that anyone can create magic, anyone can create content. It's just, how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to understand that even sometimes you just need a break? You just need to relax. You just need to focus on other things right now, focus on getting yourself together. And that's kind of what I've been doing as of recently. It's just, I've kind of been trying to get myself back on track because in a way, I don't even feel like myself. I haven't felt like myself in a while. And a lot of it has to do with some personal things that I'm going through in my own life. But also, like I said, sometimes this content creation space can be very draining. It can be very draining, and sometimes you feel like in this space, you don't feel like you're appreciated. And I know that I'm appreciated by you guys. You guys come through, you watch the videos, you guys comment and like, and you share and all those things. And I'm very appreciative to everybody who has come by day one. Whether you came by in this stream and you somehow discovered me, I appreciate everybody that's come through. But sometimes you do kind of wish, and I think that's another thing about this content creation space that you know is a very difficult, is the fact that you are so busy. Sometimes you kind of look at other people's success and you're like, dang, that person, they did that and they got this amount of views, or they got this amount of likes, or so and so shared their video. Oh, James Dunn shared their video on Twitter, or Kevin Feige mentioned someone's video in a live stream, things like that. And as a content creator, you don't really look at it from that angle, but at the same time, you kind of look at it from like, you want things to be more well renowned. And I want to be a more well renowned YouTuber. I want to be a more well renowned content creator. I'm no New Rock Stars. I'm no, a lot of the channels that you guys see. Obviously, I'm a very much a small channel. I always have been. And maybe you guys appreciate that I am a small channel. Maybe you guys appreciate that, I don't have a whole team that's working behind the scenes. It's just me. These cheap lights that I have right here, this laptop, my phone, this webcam that I'm using right now, that I use for my, if you can't tell, that I use for my interviews. This is all I have to work with. I don't have a team. I make all the thumbnails myself. I do all the effects and filters and video essays, and kind of coming up with ideas for videos and the shorts. I do all that. I put all those, man hours in myself, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm very grateful for where I've come and where I am. And I'm very appreciative of everyone that I've come across in the content creation space. But I can't lie, sometimes it's kind of like, man, what do those other channels have that I don't have? What kind of gravitas and pull do they have that I don't have? And a lot of it is, one, they have a whole production team, which I'm not knocking. If you have a production team, that's all good. But also at the same time, for smaller creators, there's smaller creators that blow up and they get big. And I'm not looking into this to get big or to get popular, but it would be nice to know that, I obviously have, the audience that I have, but I also know I can reach out and branch out to other audiences in the future, because I don't just want to stick to one niche for the rest of my life. There's other things that I love, that I enjoy, that I want to talk about. There's some things that I can't really discuss right now that I'm working through to get plans for, that you'll just have to uh, wait with me here. But there's some things that I will kind of talk about down the road that I am working on, and things like that. And you guys seem to enjoy the interviews that I've been putting out. Don't worry, more interviews are on the way. I have someone that I have in mind, but I got to figure out how to get in contact with them and things like that. That I think a lot of people would enjoy that interview, kind of learning a little bit more about the entertainment industry and things like that. So, yeah, I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of things that I want to do. It's just, again, just trying to make sure that I have all of the right things to do it. And equipment, plays a big part in that, because if I don't have the equipment, I don't have any way to do it. And, I'm not trying to fully depend on YouTube to make ends meet, but, sometimes it kind of, when the viewership is up, when, the likes are up, when the shares are up and things like that, because it helps with, the monetization part. It helps with gaining that extra money and things like that. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. That's my whole thing. It's just, again, technical and also personal reasons why I haven't really been posting as much as I should. I know I have abandoned a lot of, like, the King of the Hill stuff. That was stuff was gonna react to. The Amazing World of Gumball stuff. There might be something that I might be able to react to. Again, it's just a matter of, you know, if I really want to take that risk of having to wait hours and hours to put out a video, and then just be stuck on that one video, as opposed to what I'm used to. When I work on one video in the same day, I can work on another video or to that video. Luckily, I was able to do a short to that Fantastic Four video. Although that Fantastic Four video didn't really do well. I mean, it's at 80 views, but the short did a lot better. I think that one's at like 5,000 right now. So, again, it's just a slippery slope with this YouTube thing. Is you don't really know what's going to pop. You don't really know what's going to hit in the algorithm. And I know that when you take breaks like this, the algorithm, YouTube doesn't like that, because they will recommend another channel, and they won't recommend you, even though you may have took 3 weeks off. Still, to YouTube, it's kind of like, well, they're not active, so we're not going to put out their channel as much as we would if they were consistent, every single day with the video. And sometimes you just don't want to have to do a video every single day. Some days you just want to relax and work on other things, or things like that. So this YouTube thing is not easy. You know, all the Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed, you see those guys and they seem to make it look easy. But even for them, I'm sure they could tell you right now, it's not easy. It may seem easy, but it's not easy at all. So that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of the perspective I just want to put into play for people who want to get into YouTube. I'm not telling you you shouldn't get into content creation. I'm not saying you shouldn't get into YouTube or Twitch or whatever platform you decide to go on. It's just that you should also be aware of the pros and cons, and also the struggles and the things that you are going to end up having to deal with in this space. So, yeah, enough of that. Parker, what's up, man? I'm just going through pretty much why I haven't been posting much as of recently. Again, it's due to technical reasons. Like I said, I do all my videos on my phone, so my phone has been acting up, and I haven't really been able to do so. I'm trying to do it through my PC, and it takes a lot longer to upload videos through my PC. And it's just, I want to try to make my content as consistent and quick as possible, but also good quality. And I just haven't really been able to present that as of recently because of the technical issues. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is, Parker. It's nothing bad, nothing, nothing to worry about. You said I'm 19, nostalgia time. You said I'm 19. I graduated high school in May, and I've been making content for a year. I used to daily upload. I used to do daily uploads every once in a while, and I would take a break because it took so much time. But honestly, I make YouTube Shorts just because it's faster, so then I can go on with my day. And I do all of my content alone and on CapCut. Now I upload 3 times a week. Yeah, see, and it seems like you do it through your phone as well. So you probably do it the same way I've been doing it for like years. Is um, doing it for years. So again, CapCut, CapCut is the thing that I feel comfortable with using because again, that's how I started my YouTube journey is through CapCut. So yeah, um, I hope you keep making content. And like you said, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time out of you, especially when you're passionate about this. When you're passionate about the content, you want to make sure the quality and everything is good and up to par as possible. And sometimes you may not always be able to have the time to really put your all into it. And I think for me, that's what it is sometimes is that I feel like I don't have all the time to really put it out like I can. Because again, you're doing it alone, you're doing it by yourself. So there's a lot more extra work as opposed to, again, channels like New Rock Stars where they have a whole team and you have one person who's doing thumbnails, one person who's doing titles, one person who's writing the script for a video, which I don't do scripts for my videos. You guys know I'm very off the wall. I freestyle my videos because I just want that authentic feeling to it. And there's nothing wrong with doing a script. There's nothing wrong with having scripted content. So I don't want to make it seem like that's a bad thing. But for me, I'm more comfortable with being just more of a into the into the vibe of just being natural and just kind of turning on the camera and then just letting it flow. I just want to let it flow like I do on my live streams with you guys right now. This is how I do when I record. Now, granted, there's times where I yap off about a ton of different things. And so there's times where I've had to cut out certain things because it's like, all right, I took a little bit too long to talk about that. And I guess that's kind of another thing is that, you know, attention spans have changed. Growing up, when we were kids, we could sit down at the TV for 30 minutes and watch an episode of SpongeBob, right? And our eyes would be glued to the screen. But now with social media, with TikTok, with shorts, with things like that, very short span content, you don't really have that attention span that you used to when you were a kid, or that, this newer generation, they don't really have the attention span that we had growing up because, again, they're based in technology. It may be a 10-second, meme or a 1 minute short on how to make something, as opposed to, back in the day when YouTube, you would have 20-minute to 30-minute videos, and you would go through the process of how to, do certain things because at that time people were a little bit more patient. Now people aren't as patient as they used to be, unless again it's a channel where they base it mostly on that and it works for their niche. And that's why I haven't really been able to do a lot of long form content unless it's like interviews or live streams, because I feel like, do people really want to do people really want to hear me yap for, a long extended amount of time? Do people actually want that? Um because I don't mind doing it. It's just that I know that a lot of people are like, all right, I want short, sweet to the simple, get like 2 to 3 minutes, and that's been my format. I usually try to keep my videos 2 to 4 to 3 minutes and things like that because, you know, it's a lot more simple, it's a lot more digestible for people. People can go in, people can go out and, go about their day, right? But maybe I've been thinking maybe I can try to make that transition into doing more longer based content, and maybe that could also help my growth. Maybe that could also help bringing in a little bit more personality, because I don't know, maybe you guys feel like I don't really show as much personality. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people feel like there's more personality in my streams than there is my videos, and maybe I should start showing more of that. I'm honestly not sure. I'm just trying to find the right balance of giving out the information, but also showing a bit of personality, that when people know, when they click on a video, people know that it's me. And that's why you have people like a Speed or a Kaisenat or a Berlizzi, where people know who they are is because of the personality. And granted, you don't have to be loud and funny all the time, but maybe I do need to show a little bit more of that other, comedic side sometimes. Maybe I do need to show a little bit more of, a little bit more of that fun to watch kind of humor and fun to watch entertaining side of me, because it's there. And people that have met me or people that have known me through going to school with me or have hanged out with me before, they know that I have a, a different side. It's just that I don't show it much because I'm sometimes cautiously, socially awkward, socially cautious of what people may say or what people, how people may feel. So I don't know. I don't know. That's something I'll have to think about. I don't want to change who I am. Like, obviously, I'm not going to change who I am just because other creators are doing it. But it does give me a little bit of a thought of how I can change things up and how I could make things different, but also make them better, Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't do scripts. I just come up with ideas for my channel at least. Okay. That's why I mostly make YouTube shorts, because it's shorter and faster and people to make, and people don't have that good attention span. Like, yeah, like even if you notice like songs nowadays, right? Like my dad, he was kind of mentioning this like a few weeks ago. He was listening to some songs, like some of the newer songs, and he was like, dang, like he was like, these are kind of like time durations for songs like back in his day, like the Motown days, right? I don't know if maybe some of you may be aware of Motown, Marvin Gaye, Temptations, Fur Tops. If you listen to any music back in the day, most of those songs were at least like 2 to 3 minutes, and that was it. That was it. And obviously throughout the 70s and 80s that changed because you get more airtime in the studio. You can do these like 7 to 8 minute to 12-minute songs, uh, because people had a longer attention span for it. But now again, since so much has changed, a lot of the newer music again is kind of going back to how things were back in the 60s and 50s, where songs were like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, and it's just a very short in and out. And I don't know if it's just enough time to really get people that experience to really get into it. And maybe I feel that way with my videos. Maybe I feel like there's just not enough time for people to just come in and just get an understanding or get a basis of who I am or what kind of content I make. And maybe that's something I can work on. Maybe that's something I will have to work on. I watch people react to my favorite songs, movies, and TV shows, and it's fun to watch. I've wanted to do, like reactions to movies I haven't watched before, but I know that that's a very like popular thing. Because there's a lot of movies, believe it or not, I haven't seen. Some very popular movies, by the way, I had just have not seen before. So maybe I can do something like that. Maybe there is a point in time where maybe I can go back and, rewatch old shows that, I haven't seen in a long time or something like that. And maybe I could start a Patreon for that. And maybe you guys, I don't know if you guys would want to, but maybe I could start a Patreon and I could maybe do like reaction to movies and music because I love music. I would love to talk about music. Clips just had a new album out. I would love to talk about that. Leon Thomas. I've been listening to a lot of Leon Thomas as of recently, and he's one of my favorite artists right now. And I would love to do like music reviews and reactions and stuff, but I don't know if that's what you guys want. I don't know if that's what YouTube will allow to be pushed into the algorithm for people to, get a little bit more of my personality, a little bit more of what I'm about. Because, it's not just animation, it's not just Marvel and DC, it's not just wrestling. Although granted, I hadn't done much wrestling content, although I love wrestling and I would love to talk about wrestling, but I just don't think that's something that people, a good amount of my audience is into. So I don't talk about it. And it kind of sucks because there's times where I wanted to talk about like the John Cena heel turn, right? That was something I was actually going to do a video on, but I didn't, right? Or when Kendrick put out Not Like Us, I was actually going to react to Not Like Us, but I didn't do it. So again, there's times where I've had ideas of trying to do new content, but it's just like, is that what my audience wants to see? Is that what people, is that the kind of content people want to see? Will that kind of content help me get into other audiences as well as still keep the still maintain the audience I have now, pretty much. Queso is my favorite YouTuber, although he's a Twitch streamer. He uploads clips from his Twitch streams onto YouTube. He's a big streamer. You said, yeah, I know Queso. I haven't watched his streams, but I've seen some compilations of Queso, and he is really funny, like really funny. He takes a lot of the jokes that he gets. He takes it on the chin. Like he's a very like he's a good sport about it. But it's funny, like some of the comments and stuff he gets is like hilarious. People are just roasting him and whatnot. And he's also very entertaining to watch as well. He reminds me of Dashi. I don't know if you guys watch Dashi, but Dashi, he's very like energetic and things like that. So again, you have that kind of content. And I would love to, and that's another thing, right? Like games. I would love to, do games and do gameplays and stuff like that. Like it would be so dope. Because when I play games, I'm like a different person. So I just, if I had the resources, if I had all the resources to make it happen, there would be so much that I would do or try to do. Like I would love to stream on Twitch, and then like you said, like how Queso does it, he does clips, he clips his streams, he also puts his streams on a separate YouTube channel. I would love to do that. So if people want to watch the full streams, they can. But then I'll also have like gameplays for the games that I've played and things like that. Like there's so many different things in the space and ideas that I have like on the board of ideas. I just don't have the money nor the resources to do it, and I'm doing as best as I know how, you know. And again, I'm not saying all this for people to feel sorry for me or anything like that. I just, it's tough, it's tough. You said I've watched tons and tons of videos like Queso, and they're so funny. Queso blew up because of TikTok. Yeah, I have been posting more on TikTok as of recently. I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok, but it should be down below in my description, uh, my TikTok. If not, then I'll get a link to it so you guys can check it out. But I've posted a few things. I posted like shorts, like the same stuff that I post over here on the YouTube shorts is pretty much the same thing I post on TikTok. But I have been thinking about maybe doing some other kind of new creative content for TikTok, maybe exclusively on TikTok, due to copyright reasons with music and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see. People react to anything. Yeah, they do. They A lot of people react to a lot of things, and maybe reaction videos are maybe kind of the wave I need to do for right now until I can get a better system with doing videos again. I don't know. I don't know if people would like that. I don't know if people would maybe get tired of that. I'm just trying to kind of read the room and figure out where to go from here. People would make fat jokes about him in his streams, and some of them would be not jokes. And Queso came out and he doesn't care if it's a joke or not. Yeah. Can't you just put for home in front of the TV and then play games? Most people react to other YouTubers videos and get a lot of views. I mean, I could do that. In all fairness, um, I could do that. There is like a share screen button on here. I wonder what that's for. I might have to test that out sometime and see what that's about. But if we can do share screen, and I can react to videos live or talk about certain things live, that would be kind of cool. Um, but we'll have to see. I don't know too much about this because this is new. I'm trying the webcam because this is pretty much what I have right now. Because again, you guys know I usually try to, try to do lives on my phone, but again, my phone isn't working properly, so I'm not trying to risk that. Just in case I may need it. So yeah, I am gonna do another stream this week for Fantastic Four. So we are gonna talk about that live. Spoilers, of course. Um, I know a lot of people haven't seen the movie, so that's why I kind of been holding off. And that's another thing too. Like I actually did a 17-minute like review for the Fantastic Four. Like it's recorded, but it's just not edited because it's gonna take hours to, you know, you know, upload it to the thing that I transferred to, then to again. It's a process, It's a process. Still have to see Superman and Fantastic Four. Well, you're in luck. Now that both are out, you can actually do a double feature for those. I think it would be pretty cool. I think both movies are really good. That's all I'll say. I think they're both really good. And I think that this is probably the best year for superhero. Well, I don't say it's the best year, but it's definitely one of the best years for superhero movies, in my opinion. With Thunderbolts, with, you know, uh, Superman, Fantastic Four. I mean, even Captain America, even though Captain America has some issues, I don't think Captain America Brave New World is a bad film like people make it out to seem. But that's just my opinion on it. It could have been better, yes. It could have been better. But I don't think it's a bad film, and I don't think it's the worst film, you know? But people love to exaggerate stuff. Yeah, Thunderbolts, yeah. So yeah, I would say I would say, I would say check out, Superman and Fantastic Four at the same time. I think you would enjoy both. There's things to love in both. And without saying too much, both movies are the most comic book films we've in a while. in a while. I feel. Have you seen the show Hoarder? I have like clips, but I haven't seen the show. Um, but I know Hoarders is kind of like, they go into people's houses and there's like a ton of stuff in their house and stuff like that. Um, I'm very claustrophobic, like not on the freak out claustrophobic, but tight spaces, not really my thing. So I can't really be around like a whole bunch of like stuff just piled up everywhere because it's like, um, my goodness, I can't move through. I can't go through the door. What are we doing? So um, I'm a very clean person. I like you know just clean, not having a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't really have a whole bunch of stuff really anyway. So you know, it was very well received by reviewers. The Thunderbolts, yeah, and that's another thing too is that the Thunderbolts it's a really good movie. Like I said, I went to go see it with my friends, which I've been going to see movies with my friends a lot lately, and it's been great. It's been keeping my mind off a lot of negative thoughts and just a lot of other things going on in my life. And although Thunderbolts may have failed at the box office, it didn't fail with the audience. And I think that's the most important thing is that this movie didn't fail with the audience. Marvel took a risk, which every person in their life is going to have to take a risk at some point. If you want, because you never know where it may lead. You know, you never know. When you're able to take that risk, whether you succeed or you fail, you learn a little bit more about what it is that people want. And then you also learn about what you want to do yourself for the next thing. So, again, we're going to see the Thunderbolts in, Doomsday. We got the Chair Watch. We know they're going to be there. So that's where we're going to see them next. And I think it works out in their favor because we're going to see a bunch of other heroes in Doomsday and things like that, and it's going to add more narrative to Doomsday, but also add more interaction between the characters. Just make a third channel. I am working on a third channel. I'm not going to say what it is, but I am going to maybe do something on a third channel. Do reactions on Jace TV. I can. I mean, Jace TV is just kind of sitting there. It's not doing anything, that channel. I could. Maybe that would kind of help. The fact that I have a second channel. Maybe that will kind of help with that. But the bummer thing about it is I try to do reactions and stuff on the other channel, but and that's, again, this is the thing that sucks about being on YouTube, right? Is like, if you start another channel, you have to do a whole bunch of stuff again, and then it's like you have to kind of reintroduce yourself to a whole other audience on a new channel. And you're right, I probably should do my reactions on another channel, and maybe that's something I will do. But I looked at doing, which, I mean, to be honest, really isn't too much of a difference, to be quite honest with you. Because, I mean, if you look at my reaction videos on my channel, they get at least 100, sometimes 70 views, sometimes 200, just depends. At the highest one I've done, the highest in long form video, I believe, was the Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer reaction. And that one's because I talked so much about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that, my name is constantly in that SEO before Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Then when the show came out, I was getting like good viewership. I was getting a ton of things when I was posting like the music and some of the clips for the show. But then it kind of dwindled down because a lot more people started talking about the show, and then I just wasn't getting as many people viewing the videos as I would. Even though I talked about like season two stuff, um, those videos just aren't. I thought maybe if I, since I had talked about it so much, that I would have gained more viewership from those videos after season one, but that's not the case. So that's another bummer about this YouTube thing, is that when when you have a topic that isn't really talked about as much, um, you get more of an audience from it. You get more people coming in because there's not many people talking about it. Because before new rock stars even did any and all of these videos, and I'm not trying to slight them in any way, shape, or form, but before they even did any videos or anything like that, right? I was the one making videos about all this stuff. I was the one making videos about all the casting, all the episodes, all the promo, all the stuff. I was the one making videos about it. And then they come in, they do a video about it, and they don't get everything right from it like I tried to. They get thousands of views on it. And then my video, because I'm a smaller creator and New Rockstars, which is a bigger creator, think about it. What channel are people going to go to more? Me, some small guy, or a more established channel that does more of that kind of content? You know what I'm saying? So, in a way, when other people started talking about the show, which is good, I'm glad other people were able to talk about it. But at the same time, it's like, the little bit of an audience that I had is kind of gone, because now again you get New Rock Stars, you get Screen Crush, you get all these other channels, right? They come in, then their audience comes in, and then the viewership they get goes directly to them. And a smaller creator like me, my videos get pushed down to the algorithm. So now all the stuff, it's kind of like, oh well, no one was talking about this. I'm glad New Rockstars talked about it, but then it's like, okay, well, what about my video? I did a video about some of the stuff that they talked about, some of it before they even did. Where's my acknowledgement? And again, that's another thing about the YouTube algorithm. It's like a game of, it's like playing the lottery for small creators. It feels like a lottery. You write your ticket and you hope that your numbers get pulled, and you hope that is the lucky ticket. That's how it feels. It feels like that sometimes. But you're right. Maybe I should do a channel strictly for reactions and stuff. The thing was, doing more TV show reactions, is that if you upload your entire reaction to a movie or TV show, you're going to get copyrighted by YouTube. So it's best to like cut it down. Yeah. I thought about, like I said, I thought about doing that. If not, I thought about maybe doing like a Patreon, and like not charging people like an arm and a leg, but like a little bit of money, $1 here, $1 there, and they can see me react to certain shows or movies or things like that I haven't seen, or things that I go back and rewatch that I haven't seen in a long time. So maybe that's an idea of something I can do in the future. You said Quirky Quota does that. I haven't heard of Quirky Quota. And I've seen a bunch of YouTubers that react to movies and TV shows. They have a Patreon to their full reaction to. Yeah. Yeah. That is probably something I might do. That's probably something I might do. I just need a good editing software. And I've tried OBS. OBS just does not work. I don't know if you guys remembered the streams I did a while back. I was trying to do like a test stream for OBS, and it didn't come out right at all. So can't use OBS right now. I wonder what this share screen thing is. 11K subs. You said Quirky Quota has 11K subs, or are you saying you hope I reach 11? Okay, they have a. Oh, they have a. Oh, okay. 111,000 subs. Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. I could only dream, no pun intended. I can only dream and hope that I get to that amount of level, you know. Some people who do reactions to movie and TV shows when they have Patreon, they usually charge like $5 a month. That's a thing though. Would you guys charge $5 a month to see me react to shows and movies? Would you guys be interested in that? Your phone might work. Yeah, it might. I could probably just record, but like I said, it's gonna take a long time to. I mean, for that, I mean, it probably won't be a problem because I could just record like 2 episodes a day and then just do that. I watched The Perfect Mix and they react to shows and movies. They have 277,000 K subs. Yeah, I know. I know some of the reaction channels. They have a lot of subscribers and stuff like that. Some of them I know get featured in stuff too. I haven't been fortunate enough to get one of my reaction videos in like a commercial or anything like that. I'm hoping one day that that will happen, but you know, I'm just cruising until we do. But the day that happens, best believe you will hear about it because I will talk about it, or I will at least show it. And sometimes real rejects. That yeah, I've watched a few of real rejects videos and stuff. Really good channel. Really cool guys over there. Just make it not glitchy. I'll make sure that it's not glitchy. You know, I'll make sure. Yeah, I like real rejects. They're cool. I wonder what this share screen thing is. I'm almost curious to see what it is, but I almost don't want to. I wonder what this is. Share. Oh, I can actually. Oh, wow. I can do that? Hold on. I can legit share the screen. Wait a minute. We're going to do something right quick. We're going to do something right quick. I don't know if you guys can still see me or not. I think you guys can. I think you guys can. We're going to see if I can actually legit do this right now. I'm trying to figure out what would be the best thing to kind of show off, right? I guess I'll do this, right? Let's see. It shares your screen on your computer. Really? Interesting. So if I show this right now, let me know. Do you guys see this? Let me know. I'm sure you guys probably can. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Let me know if you can. Can you guys see it? Okay, you guys can see it. Okay. Is it laggy though? Am I lagging? Am I lagging bad? See something now? How about now? Okay, now you can see. It's laggy. Okay. Dang. Okay, so that's all right. That's not going to work. Okay, so you guys saw that. I just wanted to test that out and see if you guys could see that or not. Well, at least we know that works. That's something I'll have to work on for the next stream. I'll see what I can do. It's very laggy. Okay, yeah. I kind of figured that's what would happen. Yeah, like I said, I have bad internet. Like I literally have bad internet. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I wish it was better, you know. But you guys can hear me clearly and stuff now, right? Can you? I'm sure you guys can. I'm sure you guys can. Yep, loud and clear. All right, cool, cool. At least we know that share screen thing does work. So that's something I'll have to like tweak on and stuff in the future when I get a better internet connection, when I have better internet as a whole, then we can try to maybe do some live reactions to stuff. If you guys want that, like live reactions, maybe I can go live when there's a trailer or something and we can watch the game awards one year and stuff like that. I would love to do that kind of content. So, yeah, I learned something new today. Like tomorrow. I probably can't tomorrow because The Amazing World of Gumball comes out tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching the 20 episodes that are coming out for that. So that's where I'll be. Well, The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball is the new show, but it's still The Amazing World of Gumball. Know what that was. You said Queso does YouTube reactions on his Twitch streams. You know, I wonder if there's a. I'm kind of curious. I wonder if there's a feature that you can actually show people's chats and they pop up on stream. I'm sure there probably is. I just don't know if there is. What time does it come out? That's fine. I'm gonna find out that for you because I actually don't know what time they come out myself. Let's see. The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. That's a mouthful to say, by the way. What time do the episodes come out? Episode time. It doesn't say. It just says that it's dropping tomorrow, but it doesn't say what time. I wonder if they will drop at 3 tonight. Because you know, over here on the East Coast, if you live on the East Coast, then a lot of stuff usually drops at 3 o'clock in the morning. Because in the West Coast, things usually drop at 12 at night, midnight over there. So if you ever do song reactions, I recommend 21 Pilots. They're my favorite band and artist. I remember 21 Pilots growing up. in middle school, they were very popular. I think they had a song called Stressed Out. I think that was the name of the song. That song was everywhere. That's like the only 21 Pilot song I know. They got really good songs. Well, I'll have to check out more of their discography and see. Like I said, I would love to do music reactions. So look for that in the future. Definitely look for that in the future because that is something I do want to do. I'm trying to see if I have the actual times for when these come out. They have the page up. They say it airs in July, but what can they tell me what time? I wonder if I look on my phone. I wonder if I'll look on my phone and it'll tell me what time the Gumball episodes come out, and then I can give you an idea of what time they come out. Because I have the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball page saved on my phone just for the occasion, just so that I have see my stuff. Here we go. Also, King of the Hill. We got King of the Hill August 4th. So I'll be watching the new season of King of the Hill. For those who love King of the Hill. Let's see. Wonderfully. I'm just type up Gumball. Okay. Let's see what time these come out. 12 a.m. Okay, so these come out at 12 a.m. Is that specific time or huh? Looks like this is Eastern time. So these come out Eastern Standard Time. So if you live on the East Coast, these come out at 12. They come out, the new Gumball episodes come out on Monday at 12 a.m. So actually in a few hours. Actually in a few hours. Really interesting. So that's probably what I'll be doing in a couple of hours. I'll probably be watching the new episodes. They're all 12-minute episodes, by the way. They also have the episode titles. Do you guys want the episode titles? Or do you guys just want to kind of go in without knowing the episode titles? But I know they're releasing like 20 episodes tomorrow. Some of them if you saw some of the videos I did, I went over some of the titles, but there's also some titles on here we haven't seen before. Some of them very interesting. Some of the thumbnails for the episodes look very hilarious. So I can already tell these episodes are going to be insanely funny. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the new Gumball series. I'm also looking forward to King of the Hill making its return. And I wonder, let's see, I've been rewatching King of the Hill, but those episodes drop at 12 a.m. as well on August 4th, which is next Monday. So I'll be watching those 10 episodes as well as Peacemaker. Any Peacemaker fans? We got season 2 of Peacemaker coming out in August. So I'll be watching that as well, especially after Superman. I'm very curious as to what they're going to do. Granted, we've seen some of the characters from Superman in the Peacemaker trailer. I haven't seen the newest Peacemaker trailer yet, so maybe that is a reaction video that you might get this week because I haven't seen that. So be on the lookout if I potentially do that. But yeah, if you guys have anything else, if you guys have any other questions or comments, let me know because I'm probably gonna end the stream. I This isn't gonna be a long stream. I just wanted to like give you guys a channel update of what's been going on, and yeah, let you guys know I'm okay. I'm still alive and kicking it. Nothing's happened. I'm completely fine. It's just like I said, technical and also personal stuff that I'm dealing with right now. But once I get that all settled, everything will be okay. You said 21 Pilots have a new album coming out on this September 12th called Breach. You would have to listen to the other albums first because it has lower in it. Not okay. I'll try to see what I can do. I'll try to see if I can listen. Obviously, I'm busy with, like I said, other stuff, but I'll try to get some time in to listen to 21 Pilots if, you know, just to see the new album. It has lore in it. Okay, so there's some lore. So I'm gonna have to check out the other albums. Okay. Maceo, what's up? Who would win, Thing or Hulk? Okay, we're gonna talk about this because this could go either one or two ways. If it's the comic Hulk, then comic Hulk is gonna beat Thing. But if it's the MCU Hulk, then the Thing is got him dead to rights. So for comic Hulk is taking that fight. But Marvel movie wise, as far as what I've seen, although in the movie, like I said, I won't speak on it too much, but I think the thing is got Hulk in that fight for sure. I don't know much about the thing, so I would go with Hulk. Well, whenever you do go see Fantastic Four nostalgic times, I think the movie will give you a good idea of who the thing is, who Ben Grimm is. Um, and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I won't say too much else about it. I might watch the other Fantastic Four movies before I go see the new one. I've heard the older ones are horrible. Well, I can tell you, I haven't seen the older ones. I've never seen them before, and I'm just gonna say this: after seeing the new Fantastic Four on Saturday, well, yesterday, I don't think I want to go see the other. I don't think I want to go watch the old Fantastic Four movies. If I'm being honest, I don't think I want to because I'll be too busy. I'll be too busy thinking of I'm gonna be too busy thinking about the new Fantastic Four movie I just seen, you know, and I'm just gonna be bummed out because it's like, why did it take them so many years to get this right? If that makes sense, you know. Um, so I don't know if I may do like a watch through of all the Marvel movies in general. I did that a few years ago during the pandemic. Like I went and rewatched all the Marvel movies and shows. So I have a good idea of most of them. Now I will say there's going to be some of those Marvel projects that's going to be a little bit hard for me to get through, like Thor: The Dark World. Oh Lord, Secret Invasion. Oh Lord, you know, there's going to be some of those projects that's just like, oh, I don't know if I actually want to watch this or not. I might just skip that, you know. So I might do a rewatch. Now the DC on the DC side of things, I don't know about that because I mean, after what we seen with Superman, I don't know if I want to go back and watch some of the old DC stuff. Now, obviously, the Batman, I'll go back and watch that. The Michael Keaton Batman, 1989, that's a classic. I'll go back and watch that. Um, and obviously, Christopher Reeve's Superman, 1 and 2, not 3 and 4. We don't talk about 3 and 4. Um, but as far as that, that's probably as far back as I'll go with DC. Now, I do want to check out the Batman movie from the 40s that came out because I have not seen that one before. So I do want to check that one out as well as the Superman movie they did in the 40s or the 50s because I'm all about watching old movies and I haven't seen those. So maybe that's something I do. If you guys want me to do, you know, a watch of those, maybe I could do a watch of the old, Superman and Batman movie from the 40s and 50s. Who will win, Rhino or the Hulk? Hulk has still got that. The Rhino is strong, but the Hulk, he's on another level of strong. I do have some TV show suggestions to watch if you ever react to them. I recommend Cobra Kai and Stranger Things if you haven't seen them. I have seen Cobra Kai. I am a big Cobra Kai fan. I remember when Cobra Kai came out, I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school, I believe. When did Cobra Kai come out again? What year did Cobra Kai come out? Cobra Kai season 1 release 2018. Around that time, no, I'm wrong. I was actually a junior when season 1 came out in high school. I remember it being on YouTube Red, and my dad, he told me about it. He's like, there's this like show about Johnny Lawrence from the Karate Kid movies, and I was like, wait, what? And I watched it. I watched the first 2 episodes because those were the only 2 they had at the time of the first season. And then I think they over time you could watch the other episodes as they came out. And I watched the first 2 episodes of Cobra Kai and I got hooked. I got hooked. I was like, okay, I need to see more of this. Obviously, they dropped more episodes. Then season 2 came out. Then you know what happened with YouTube Red. YouTube Red wasn't as successful as YouTube thought. Though Cobra Kai was the most popular thing that YouTube Red had done. They had done some other shows, but obviously Cobra Kai was the big standout. Then we didn't really know what they were gonna do with Cobra Kai, what Cobra Kai was gonna go to. Was it gonna go to Max? Was it gonna go to Netflix? And then we finally got that announcement that it was coming to Netflix. We had to wait about a year to get season 3, and we got a little bit of that season 3 teaser with Chosen, and we got to know that Chosen was going to come back and return. for that. And then yeah, I watched it through Netflix. All the seasons. I stayed up. Some of them came out New Year's, December time. And then I stayed up, watched every single episode, binged watched it. There were times where I was shocked, times where I was hyped, times where I was worried, times where I was bawling my eyes out about certain things that happened. I love Cobra Kai. Like, I love that show. I love the nuance. I love what they were able to do with the Karate Kid all these years ago, all that lore, all of the things that happened with the events of those films. They were able to take those events and still have them play into the events with the newer generation. And they did it in such a way that felt so nostalgic. Like, for me, Cobra Kai feels like a show that would have came out in the early 2000s, like around the time that Smallville came out. I feel like Cobra Kai is just one of those shows that you could place it in any decade after, either in the 90s or in the early 2000s, and it would work because that's just the vibe and dynamic of the show, and it's just done really well. Like, you get to see the character growth with all the characters, and like you said, the last season was the best season. I love how everything came back full circle. You know what I mean? Everything came back full circle. You know, granted, you may had marketing the last season. I think the marketing could have been a lot better for the final season. In my honest opinion, I feel like the second part is just very null and void. Besides Quan getting pruned off the timeline, which rest in peace, Quan. Quan was such a dope character, and it's unfortunate that his character had to take his character getting pruned off the timeline for the events of the final part to happen. But once you understand that it had to take someone to literally die for everybody involved to understand, like, okay, no, like, this is serious now. Like, somebody is dead. Like, this isn't a game anymore. This isn't, so I like that. Even though it's sad that you lose a character like that, but you add more of that dynamic, you start to see a lot of the characters who are like, okay, even like Kreese, he's like, oh dang, even I took it too far, you know. And that was a life-changing thing for Kreese. It was a life-changing thing for everybody. But I think, Kreese had looked at Quan as, the second Johnny Lawrence, and no one can compare to Johnny Lawrence. Johnny, he's just himself, but Quan was that, second in command for Johnny Lawrence. He treated Quan like his son. And you understand, it's kind of like, because Kreese never got married, as far as we know. I don't think he ever got married in any part of his life. So, Johnny was his son. That literally was his son in a way. And that scene where Johnny breaks down to Kreese at the Saikai Taikai, I love that scene so much. And it shows the character growth with Johnny Lawrence as a character. You always feel for Johnny, but in that, like, towards the final season, you root for him. You want him to be the guy who wins. And when he wins, it feels good. It feels rewarding. It doesn't feel like something that they just forced. It took us 6 seasons to get here, to see him get the family, get the girl he always wanted, have the sons have his biological son as well as his new son into his life, and now introducing a daughter into the new generation that, who knows, 10 to 15 years from now, we may be seeing her as the main character in a Cobra Kai, spin-off show. So, I mean, there's so much that they built up. And even though the world has ended for now, we could see that world return in the future. And it gets me optimistic about it, you know. So I love Cobra Kai as a whole. I love that show. I miss it. I really do. I miss it. I'm hoping that one day I get to meet the cast because I would love to interview the cast and just ask about their experience and things like that. Because I was always a Karate Kid fan growing up. Like I watched a lot of the Karate Kid movies, in syndication on TV growing up. Karate Kid 2 is my favorite Karate Kid movie. Obviously, 1 is iconic. You can never put down the first movie, but Karate Kid 2 is the movie that I was like, all right, you got me. Like this solidifies what Karate Kid is. And I personally I love movies that takes the main characters and puts them into a new location and you get to see them interact with the world around them. They're not in the valley anymore. They're in Okinawa. And I love that they were able to show Daniel and Mr. Miyagi going to Okinawa, going to Japan and learning about the customs, the culture, and all of the things in Japan. Like I love that. So that's why that movie for me, it hit on a different level than the first Karate Kid. But I still love the first Karate Kid. Don't get me wrong. Like I love that. Like it's iconic. It's like the first Rocky. Like obviously people love the first Rocky, but if you ask certain people, some people may say Rocky 2, some people may say Rocky 3, some people may say Rocky 4. It just all depends on your preference. But obviously you can't go wrong with the first Karate Kid. Now, Karate Kid 3, it had some good, but also at the same time, it had some inconsistencies. But I think Cobra Kai was so good that even with the inconsistencies, they found ways to make the third movie make sense, especially with Terry Silver, the way he was acting. Terry Silver in the 80s, he was on that booger sugar, and that's why he was, off his rockets. That's why he was literally intimidating, Daniel and all this. So I like that they're able to, again, those nuances and adds more context to those characters. And Cobra Kai just did it so good. They just did it so well. Um, and yeah, the fights were intense and kept me on the edge of my seat. Yeah, the fights, there have been so many fights throughout the show that it's just like, oh God, somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Especially the school fight. And when people talk about Cobra Kai, that's one of the main things that people obviously know. Like they automatically in their minds, they think about that school fight in the finale of season 2. And they're Miguel and Robbie and Sam and Tori and the whole school is just fighting. It's Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do in the school. And then boom, uh, Robbie shows no mercy and Miguel falls and breaks his back. You know what I mean? Like people remember that moment. Same with, again, the Psycho Taikai, right? People automatically are thinking about Quan when he got pruned off the timeline by his own means because he was trying to attack Axel and he should have known better. But he was so enraged into the Cobra Kai method that it caught up with him. And unfortunately, he passed because of that. So when you have moments like that, or even the season 5 finale, which Chosen and Terry, right? And I was so scared. Like I thought Chosen was pruned off the timeline. I thought Chosen was gone because when Terry went and striked him with the blade, I thought he was done. But I'm glad that he wasn't. I'm glad that Chosen was able to make it through the series because that was one of the around that time there were so many theories about Cobra Kai. Like people were saying, oh, Chosen was gonna get slain off and a whole bunch of stuff. Some theories were very wild and out there. Other theories were kind of like, all right, that's kind of spot on. So I love the theorizing and stuff from the Cobra Kai era, and I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that because there's a lot of great theories out there. Hey, Colbert, I don't know if you're still here. You're all good, man. We're just talking about Cobra Kai. and stuff. But yeah, I've seen Cobra Kai. Now, Stranger Things, I have seen, but I dropped out of Stranger Things. I might return to Stranger Things. I don't know yet. I know the new season's coming out this year, right? It's like a two-parter. So maybe I'll drop back into it. I'm not sure yet. Maceo, you said, do you prefer the red and blue or the red and black Spider-Man? I prefer red and blue. I'm a classic guy. I love the classic Spider-Man suit. Red and blue, the Alex Ross, that's very iconic suit for Spider-Man. But again, I'm a classic guy. I love the red and blue. That's my introduction to Spider-Man. That's what I grew up on, and I think that's what fits him. Now, obviously, you get into the cartoons and the comics. He gets the black suit, the symbiote suit. Then it's kind of like, all right, I this is like the second one that I know. But again, I'm a classic red and blue guy. Cobra Kai season one wasn't my favorite, but each season kept getting better and better. Yeah, like each season just kept getting better and better of the show. And even in that first season, although with YouTube Red, obviously you could tell it was YouTube Red money, but and they didn't have much money to go by, but you could still tell that there was some passion, there was a lot of love in the first season, and that they were trying to do something different. So I appreciate it for that matter. I watched Cobra Kai without watching the original Karate Kid movies, but I still enjoy the show. And that's the cool thing about it is that with Cobra Kai, a new generation, them a lot of them probably haven't even seen the Karate Kid movies. So when they see these characters, they're like, okay, well, why are people making such a big deal about Chosen? Why are people making such a big deal about Terry Silver? Why are people making such a big deal about uh, what's her name, Allie, right? Allie with an I, not with a Y, right? So, or is it Allie with a Y and not an I? It's one of them. It's one of them. If you know, you know, right? So, and then they kind of show like flashbacks to the time that Chosen had Kumiko held hostage at the castle, right? They show flashbacks to it. So now you get the newer generation that's like, okay, where can I learn more about this? And then you go and you watch Karate Kid Part 2, and it's like, oh, snap. Okay, now that makes sense. Now I understand why Daniel in season 3, when he saw him in Okinawa, he was so startled to see him because they had a bit of a rivalry in Karate Kid Part 2. You know? Chosen was definitely my favorite character. He cracked me up in Cobra Kai. I've never seen him in the third Karate Kid movie. I've never seen that one. Yeah, he's not in the third Karate Kid movie. He's in the second one. But I did hear, and I don't know if this is true, but I did hear that Karate Kid Part 3, before they changed it, they were gonna have Johnny Lawrence come back in that film in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if he was gonna help Daniel take down Cobra Kai. But imagine if if that did happen, we wouldn't have the Cobra Kai show today. So in a way, maybe it kind of worked out because if not, what will we be talking about right now? You know, Stranger Things is dropping in three parts. The first one, Thanksgiving. The second part drops on Christmas, and the finale drops in New Year's. So they are doing the Cobra Kai approach. They're doing it, splitting up into three parts. I think that's really good. I think that's a really good thing. And I know a lot of people when Cobra Kai did that, there were a lot of people who weren't fans of that. But honestly, I thought of it as this was good because you get 5 episodes from the first part that gives people something to talk about. You get the next part in the next couple of months That gives something for people to talk about until the next part comes out. And then when the final part comes out, then it's kind of like collectively you can go back and watch all the episodes all together. And it's like, okay, now I understand why they split into three parts. So if Stranger Things is doing the same approach and this is the final season, I think it'll work out because this gives people plenty of time to talk about, give all their fan theories, what could happen in the next part. It just gives more people more time to kind of do that kind of stuff. So I think that's a good approach. I think that's a good idea. Some of my friends have tried out Stranger Things, but they gave up on it. But I tried to tell my friends to give it a second chance because it's so good. And that happens sometimes. You may have a show that you suggest to a friend and hey, check out this show, and then they check it out, and then it's like maybe 3 episodes in, they're like, I'm not going to check it out anymore. And to that, I'd say, maybe hopefully they can go back and rewatch it and maybe give it another chance, because sometimes you may watch a show the first time and you're like, I don't know if that show really hit for me. And then you go back and you watch it a second time, and then it's like, wait a minute, I didn't catch that before. Wait a minute, where did that happen? Wait a minute, I don't remember that happening. So that happens. So hopefully your friends can go back and rewatch it and maybe give it a second chance. If not, maybe it just wasn't for them. I'm excited for season 5, the final season. I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited. I'm glad you're excited. Like I said, I may have to pick back up on Stranger Things. It's been a while since I've watched any of the seasons, so I'll definitely have to pick back up on it. When I watched Stranger Things for the first time, I absolutely fell in love with it. Thoughts on every Fantastic Four movie? Well, Maceo, I haven't seen the 2005 nor 2007 Fantastic Four movie, so I can't comment on that, nor have I seen the 2015 one. But I can say, after seeing the newest Fantastic Four movie, I really enjoyed it. I had fun with it. You'll hear more on Wednesday because we'll do a live stream on Wednesday and we'll talk about Fantastic Four. Spoilers, of course. So make sure if you've already seen it, don't forget to come by on Wednesday because we'll talk about it. But as far as the other three Fantastic Four movies, I think, like I said, after watching Fantastic Four First Steps, I don't think I want to go back and watch the other Fantastic Four movies. I honestly don't think I want to. But yeah, I'm probably going to end the stream here. It's been a nice hour and 33-minute stream. I appreciate all the people who came in and chatted and said hi and all that. I'm gonna shout you guys out. Shout out to Anthony. I hope you're doing. If you're still here, man, I'm so sorry about your girlfriend. Praying for you, man. Don't give up. I know it's hard, but everything's gonna be all right, man. And then we got Perfect Peace. Shout out to Perfect Peace. Thank you for always coming by and supporting. Warner Bros. Shout out to you. Yes, Gumball. We're actually going to be getting Gumball season 7 in a few hours, so I hope you're excited about that. Nostalgic Time. Shout out to you for coming through and coming by and having great conversations. It's always a pleasure to have you in the streams and whatnot. Parker, what's up, Parker? I know it's been a while. I appreciate you coming through and everything. Even you having great conversations. Let's see who else we got in here. Maceo, shout out to Maceo for the questions, and stuff like that. Colbert, I don't know if you're still here, Colbert, but shout out to you as well. I know you were in here. I'm trying to see, is there anyone else? Did I miss anyone else? I don't think I did. Yeah. Shout out to you guys for coming in. You know, this was a very random stream, and I never streamed this late, but uh, maybe I can do late night streams like this if you guys like that kind of content. I think that'd be cool to do some late night streams. And now that I know I can share my screen, hopefully when I get better internet, we can be able to stream some cool stuff. Because like I said, if we can do a live reaction of like a trailer, or a live reaction to like the game awards or something like that down the line, I think that would be really cool to do for future content and things like that. So yeah, really awesome stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming through. As I always say, if you have a goal, go for it. Just do it. Do it better than anything you could ever imagine. And I promise you, the road will lead you the right way that you need to go. You said late night stream sounds good, or live reactions to like YouTube videos. Yeah, I could do that. And then all I would have to do is just go into stream and clip where we did the reaction, and then I can just post it as a video itself. That might actually be easier, tell you the truth. That might actually be easier. So who knows? We may actually do that down the road. We will have to see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming through in the stream. Big love to you all, and peace out.